I have seen a lot of writers work on a novel for 5 years, for 10 years, and never finish it. You do not want to be one of those writers. Here are the 10 ways that you can be more productive and finish your book. 1, give yourself a reward for hitting certain word counts. You should have a daily word count you're going for, whether it be 200 words or 500 words or 1,000 words. You should also have a weekly word count that you're going for, and then also milestone word counts that you're going for. And then if you hit a daily word count, give yourself a little treat, like an ice cream or something. And when you hit a milestone, like 30,000 words or 50,000 words, then give yourself a bigger treat, something like a massage. And you want to write these rewards down because it'll provide enormous motivation for you hitting those word counts. Another choice, if you don't want to do word count, is simply count the number of hours you spend. Have a goal for writing 1 hour a day. And if you hit that, make sure to reward yourself because it will make you write faster the next day. 2, don't edit. Of course, I mean don't ever edit. What I mean is when you're in the drafting process, don't step out of that process to start revising what you've already written. 1, editing slows you way down and it's really difficult to recapture that momentum. Also, editing is a very different frame of mind than writing, and switching between those mindsets is really difficult. My recommendation is to get that first draft written as quickly as possible, and then you can go back and try to fix it up. Anne Lamott said that the first draft should be a get it down draft, and then the second draft should be a fix it up draft. Third tip to become a faster writer is have a sense of the ending. If you know where your story is headed, if you know the climax, if you know the end, then you're going to be writing toward it much faster than if you're sort of floundering about and the character's doing this and the character's doing that, but you don't really know where the character's headed. Not only that, but you'll have much less revision afterwards because every single part of your book will have been aimed toward that ending. And plus, there's a psychological thing where you are excited for the ending, and so you're trying to get there quicker, and that forces you to write quicker. 4, use a timer. Have you heard of the Pomodoro method? What you do is you take a kitchen timer and you set it for 25 minutes, and you work as hard as you can for those 25 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break. After that 5-minute break, you set the timer for 25 minutes, and you work as hard as you can for those 25 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break. You do this 4 times in a row, and then you take a much longer break, like a 10 or 15-minute break. Pomodoro is an Italian method of task management, and it actually comes from the Italian word for tomato, because the original timer was tomato-shaped. So using a timer like this helps you to focus all of your energy and also gives you regular breaks so you don't get burnt out. I know a lot of writers who have written entire novels using this Pomodoro method. 5, attempt a streak. So faster doesn't just mean typing faster. What faster really means is finishing your novel faster. And if you attempt a streak of writing every single day and sort of challenge yourself to see how many days in the streak you can go, you're gonna end up finishing your book way faster. Because when you have 14 days in a row, you don't wanna miss a day and start the streak over at 0. And my recommendation would be to keep track of your streak on a calendar. Mark every single day how many words you've written or how many hours you spent. And let me tell you, if you hit 30 days in a row, that is a streak to be proud of. And once again, going back to 1, you need to reward yourself. 6, limit research. Nothing slows down writing more than being like, oh, let me just research this on the internet. And like 3 hours later, you've gained all this knowledge about this particular topic, but guess what? You haven't written anything. I know a lot of writers who have spent most of their time researching novels and not a lot of time actually writing the novels. I don't know, maybe you need to set sort of like time limits on your research and be like, I'm gonna research this for 30 minutes and then I'm gonna write for 3 hours. Ultimately, you don't want to go down the rabbit hole of like super interesting information that most of that's not going to fit inside your novel. All you need is enough information where you can make your scene work. 7, avoid the internet and social media. Do you ever have the best of intentions to start writing and you sit down and you start typing, but the machine you're working on doubles as a porthole to all of the information in the known universe? This is a problem. My friends, you have discovered your writing kryptonite. And maybe it's not social media and the internet. Maybe you have some other distraction that sucks up all your time. I don't know, maybe it's Netflix. But whatever that thing is for you, you have to do your writing time first before you let that kryptonite sabotage you. 8, use writing tools. I know a lot of writers who swear by Scrivener. It's such a helpful way of organizing their entire novel that they don't get lost and therefore they write a lot faster. But if you don't use Scrivener, then something as old-fashioned as an outline can help you write faster. Because really an outline is just showing you where to go next. And when you know where to go next, you can just move on to that next chapter without any sort of break or pause. There's not any sort of confusion or wondering, you just know, okay, this is the next task I have to do. And then after that, this is the next task. Now there's a writing tool which is very popular right now, ChatGPT or other AI programs. I would not recommend using those in your writing process, except for research, right? It's fine to use AI as like a very advanced Google to like find out information or to ask it questions or to generate ideas. But I recommend writers don't use it to actually write the text itself. You're a creative person, right? You can actually do it, and you will discover something which is much more exciting than whatever AI can come up with. 9, read every day. When you are writing, you are using up your creativity batteries. Reading is a way to recharge those batteries. If you don't have creativity pouring into you, you're not gonna have any creativity to put on the page. And some writers, they worry about being influenced by the book that they're reading. But most writers who aren't very good, the trouble is not they've been influenced too much, it's that they've been influenced too little. Some writers like to read before they write. And if you have a book that you're modeling yours after, then yeah, absolutely read so you can get a sense of the tone and the voice and everything, and then use that in your book. Me personally, I like to read later on in the day after I've gotten all my creative stuff done, and it just recharges me so the next morning I'm ready to write again. Number 10, try dictation rather than typing. Raise your hand if you can talk faster than you can type. If so, dictation might be a really natural step for you to write your books. Richard Powers, who wrote The Overstory and several other very famous novels, he has used dictation for years, and he said it was an absolute game changer to help him get his ideas onto the page. As far as software, my favorite is Dragon. It has the very highest accuracy rating out of all the dictation softwares. I think it's 97%. And guess what? That's only gonna get better in the years to come. And there's a lot of free software that you can use out there as well. I would try a couple different ones before settling on one and trying to write a book with it. Listen, this is your life and time is your most valuable resource. If you can figure out how to get this novel finished faster, you are going to be able to publish it and start writing the next one even sooner.